All right. Hi, welcome back. You are here with Miss Alston, and I'm going to try to, as quick as possible, go over your ultimate writing resource folder with you. The purpose of this folder is for you to have as many resources as possible to reference while you are writing, and because it's a folder, you can actually stand it up while you are writing. All right. So first, let's start with the front. The front of your folder is for literary and rhetorical analyses. So on the front, you'll have the big five. We have content and central idea for when we're analyzing a text, tone and mood, structure, audience and purpose, and then stylistic devices. We can also categorize that as rhetorical devices or literary devices. Then you have your little ethos and pathos and logos for the rhetorical triangle. Now, do not get overwhelmed. We will add to this folder, and you might not finish this folder today, but it's totally okay. All right? Now, you have a lot of literary devices to go through. We have a lot of literary devices that we're going to go through this semester. And instead of presenting these devices to you in an isolated way or separating them, what I've done is created a flip chart, and all the literary devices are organized based on their purpose. So we have types of examples. For example, we have anecdotes, facts, data and statistics, testimony, quotes. We have forms of symbolism, so allegory, metaphor, motif. Like I said, we're not going to define and give examples to all of these today. However, I do just want to kind of give you a snippet of how we're going to organize these literary devices as we analyze them and use them in our writing. We have comparing ideas, similes, personification, allusion, analogies, contrasting ideas, juxtaposition, paradox, oxymoron, and antithesis. The three types of irony, we have verbal, dramatic, situational. Sound devices, we have alliteration, assonance, consonance, and onomatopoeia, which is always funny to say, and it never looks the way it's spelled. Then we have critiquing and adding humor. So we have satire, parodies, sarcasm. Then we have word choice. So looking at like colloquialisms, idioms, jargon, euphemisms. We have types of repetition. Then we have types of rhythm. All right. So, and I will give you a picture of these to break those down. All right, when we open our folder, we have one side in which we're looking at academic vocabulary and phrases. So for example, you will be adding to this throughout the semester, and don't be scared if you do not get all these words down today, of course. But for example, I put, instead of saying things, so that you're being more specific, you can say actions, behaviors, ideas, emotions, statements, comments, items, ideas. All right, then I have some synonyms for important. I have some synonyms for like if we're talking about a character or talking about a character's personality. Because we'll be looking a lot at a character's actions, or when we're analyzing literature, I noted words that deal with like betrayal, words that deal with hiding, words that deal with like exposing or showing something. And then I put some phrases here, which we'll continue to add to throughout the semester. When we're talking about like critical studies and we're looking at issues of like race and culture, here are some words we might use. For example, we have ideologies, hegemonic, cultural, social norms, perpetuate, counter, challenge, misogyny, transformative, discourse. And then once again, I've added just other words for like study, monolithic. Once again, this is just me kind of adding like different words that I feel like we will use or that you might feel like you will use throughout your writing. On the other side, we have sentence starters and transitions. So the way I come up with sentence starters and transitions is when I'm reading something and I go, oh my gosh, I really like how the author started that sentence, or I really like, even when I'm listening to something, I really like the way this person framed that or quoted that. I'll just use like the very like general sense of what they said. I'm not going to copy verbatim what they said. So here are just some sample ones. Author employs blank technique in order to establish blank. So for example, Shakespeare employs metaphors in order to establish that Lady Macbeth views Macbeth as weak. The speaker's reference to blank serves primarily to blank. The speaker's reference to, in Macbeth, the witches serves to primarily to foreshadow that Macbeth will one day be king. So just kind of filling in the blanks that way. If you have any questions about these, just let me know. I do have some at the bottom too for if you're comparing and contrasting two texts. So once again, as you read, you can add to this yourself. You don't just have to depend on me and the sentence starters that I have. Okay, and then lastly on the back, I put other resources. A lot of this is when we're looking at nonfiction texts and we're analyzing like issues of race, class, gender, or we're trying to make those connections when we read. So on the back, I have audience analysis. So we're looking at race, class, sex, gender, nationality, abilities, age, occupation, hobbies, interests. Then on the other side, I have the isms. So racism, classism, sexism, heterosexism, ageism, post-colonialism. And this is important because, for example, when you do an analysis and you're answering that so what question, what you'll notice is a lot of fictional texts are getting into these broader issues within our society. And it's important that you speak to these, even when you analyze literature, or whether it be for a research paper. Lastly, I also have types of institutions. So when you look at the isms, or you're talking about a social group, it also relates to types of institutions. So looking at maybe issues of classism within the marriage and family system, or issues of heterosexism when you think about employment issues. We have religion, we have law, industry, business, corporation, the arts, mass media, military, medicine, education. So that's one way to, once again, make connections when you are writing and when you're reading, and to really show your understanding. And then I also printed off just a transition sheet for you, and you can put this on the back of your folder as well. So that is our ultimate writing resource folder. I'm really not trying to overwhelm you. I hope this is helpful for you. I'm sure it will be throughout this semester.